necessary. It's absolutely optional. But many of us feel like we have to suffer, because I feel the insanity of humanity is that suffering is normal, that it's normal to feel like we're suffering. It's normal to feel panic. It's normal to feel like we're lacking in some way, like we're not good enough in some way. That's what we consider normal. And I feel it couldn't be further from the truth. That is not normal. That has been very conditioned and very much trained to be the way we live. And it's not at all our natural state. And our natural state is actually of ease, of grace, of trust, of faith, of joy. This is our natural state. And so for some of us, as we're coming from this place where we've been so out of alignment for a long time, what will feel challenging for that soul is to actually step into that uncomfortable place, the uncomfortable place of newness. And that newness may be, wow, I'm actually being treated with honor, but I'm so used to people abusing me. So this feels really uncomfortable when this guy gives me all this nice attention. So let me sabotage this because this doesn't feel right. And then they'll sabotage that relationship and then go right back to dating, the bad boys that kick their asses and treat them shitty. And then they're like, okay, well, this is uncomfortable as well, but it's what I know. It's the uncomfortably comfortable. And I'll just hang out here because this is what I'm used to. And so for all of us on this planet, if we want to break free of the insanity that humanity has been living in for lifetimes, we have to start living with authenticity. We have to have the courage to move in a new direction. And we need to start to be authentic with our own lives, because if we're not living authentically for ourselves, it's going to be pretty tricky to be happy and blissful for others and to be happy in our life situation. And so one of the things that I found interesting this week, connected with the whole symbolicness of the dream, was in that dream, these creatures were only taking down the misaligned people. And that was very much a metaphor in the dream. And what I realized was, this is what we're doing to ourselves. And this is what we, in a sense, people are in the sphere of the end of times, like that it's got to happen. And so they're waiting for the world just to explode itself, and then they can be satisfied with their predictions. But it's because they're really not living in the now and feeling empowered now. So back to that quote that Spirit spoke through me, is that when we're in that insanity, we are actually denying the presence of this moment. We are denying the beauty and the power that's showing up right here, because we want to chase and get to some unknown destination. And again, to abandon the peace of this present moment, forever seeking the unknown of a future moment in hopes of salvation. That, to me, is the essence of what many of us have been taught, that we need to chase down something, then we'll be saved. Something will save us. What I know to be true is that is complete bullshit, and that is something we've been so preached. It's been preached to us so long that we really still are kind of waiting for someone to come save us. But what I've found to be true is that we are waiting for ourselves. I watched this film that is a total mind twist of a film, but so truthful. Like, oh my God, so much of what was going on in that film I have experienced in my own life, connecting with angels and ascended ones. And it's called Interstellar. And if you're interested in watching it, I encourage you to. And it might be one of those films you watch a few times, because it's pretty what? It's out of the box. But it's so amazing in how it's showing that the very ones they're waiting to save them are themselves, and that it's their own higher self. And there's this part of when people ask me about, Tanya, how do I connect with angels, and how do you know what angel it is? And some people will make up, I feel, stories. I can just feel it when I'm around people where I'm like, that, I can feel that's a story. And it's just passed down generation after generation. And okay, because this person wrote a book about this angel, then that must be true. What I encourage people to do is to go meditate and get to know them on your own level, tune into them vibrationally now and ask them questions. And what I have been told when I tune in very deeply with Archangel Ariel, which I love, and this angel has helped me so much to get to where I'm at today. But when I was asking this angelic being, this higher consciousness, questions about the angels, what I was told and what she said to me is, I am the highest aspect of yourself. And this is what each of us needs to understand. we don't need to be calling out to some ethereal energy out there hoping it's going to save us. What it is our own higher self becomes self-realized. We realize, our eyes open, oh my God, I'm freaking powerful. I can affect nature. I can affect, in dreams, I could actually call forth assistance and protect the planet. I could affect and help heal souls that are hurting when I align with my higher self, that aspect of my highest self. When I'm not doing that, I feel like a victim, a martyr. I feel scared. I feel insecure. I feel like I'm on a planet that's just waiting to shake me off. And I'm frightened and I feel like I have no power. And that is what a lot of humans are comfortable feeling. They've been trained to feel that. You have been very much conditioned to feel that for lifetimes. It has been very strategically done, because if we ask ourselves, why would any humans or any beings want to cause all of us to conform? Why would we want that? Why would a darker energy wish to cause souls to forget themselves and to forget their power? What do you think, Amnon? Why do you think?
Why do I think, or what do I think?
What do you think about that? Like, why do you feel there could be a darker energy, a low vibrational energy that would wish to control humans, to cause them to feel they had no power, to cause them to feel that you have to submit and just go along with the system and never question it? Why would we, why would there be an agenda that would wish to cause humans to feel this?
There's always, that's the dark side.
I know, but why do you feel they're doing it? What's your gut feeling on the reason for it?
They like to mess with us. They're getting something out of negativity. Mm-hmm. And it's not just those. I mean, there are a lot of people that are like that too.
Yes, the ones that align with the darkness instead of the light.
I mean, they may not be aligned with the darkness, but they're still negative.
Yes,
and they
that's
don't
what I mean by aligning. They're more leaning towards it than alignment.
Yeah, they're not. I don't think they're aligned. Period.
Exactly. Yes, and I guess if you could say align with the darkness, that could be like counter aligned to alignment. But yes, and one of the main reasons I feel that happens is because if I could break you down as a soul and cause you to doubt yourself, forget who you are, forget your power, tell you not to question authority, to only listen to me, this is very strategically done because this is a great way to control humans.
Sounds like
an easy way to control you, right?
Sounds like our government. Almost, I mean.
Boom. Yeah. And it sounds a lot like a lot of the misaligned religions, a lot of public education, healthcare systems, all these systems that tell you couldn't possibly know what's best for you. So let us tell you what that is and do this, this, and this because we say, and follow these rules and stay in these boxes and everything will be okay. And if you don't, this will be your consequence and you will be in trouble. And so all of this is very strategically done, even in the education system with children, very young, taught to ignore what your soul mission is, ignore what you love, what your joy and bliss is, and do what we say, memorize what we say. We're going to break you down. We're going to cause you to feel heavy. When you go into college, now we got years more of that so that we can really condition you to not question, but just do what we say. And we watch how those souls get heavier and heavier and heavier, and they get more depressed and they suffer. And it's because you're going completely in the wrong direction of aligning with your actual soul's highest well-being. And that alignment, which is you and source connecting and knowing yourself. And that's what I feel like the insanity of humanity is, that this is everywhere. And that we have to be so mindful that we don't go and just follow blindly and just jump in and do what we're told when it doesn't feel right. Whether it's your best friend tells you to do something that doesn't feel right, like, hey, you should go steal that makeup. Like, I'm sure teenagers go through this and then they're like, oh, I don't want to be the nerd. I don't want to be the lame friend. So, okay, I'll go steal the makeup. And then there's a consequence. And like, this goes on for the rest of your journey. There's that peer pressure to go against self, to go against inner knowing and inner alignment to satisfy the needs of those around you that really only wish to control you. And they don't really care for your highest good or your well-being. Make sense? He thinks it makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to take a pause, Amnon. Is anybody writing in? Because I talked for like 26 minutes straight. Woo! Are you there?
Oh, sorry. I didn't know I was potted down.
It's okay. Is anybody writing in or anything?
Cindy's listening, and Cherokee was here, and I don't know if he or she dropped out.
Okay. Well, if any of you want to ask a question or you want to share a comment, maybe if there's something you're going through personally where you feel like you have been struggling and you feel like, you know, how can I do this better? And you want to reach out, I'm giving you the invitation.
Let's go, Cindy. Come on. You have a question?
Yeah. Give us a question or a comment. And if anybody calls in, I will do a reading today. 919-518-9773. So if you guys want to call in. So anyway, if she chimes in or anybody does, just let me know, okay?
Of course.
Of course. So anyway, I had back to this whole insanity thing. It was really cool because I'm starting these yoga teacher trainings that I do for 3 months. I do a 3-month mentorship, and I have one starting at the end of the month, and then I started one at the beginning of the month on a different day. And one of the clients that I work for on the Friday yoga training, he is a doctor, and he's had all this education, lots of formal education, lots of certificates, lots of achievements, and he's done a lot in his life as far as what society, excuse me, I have hiccups, as far as what society would say is successful. And he met with me in yoga, and we're sitting there on the mat, very authentic and humble and just present. And what he felt so drawn to work with me for is he said he could just feel that presence in me and that alignment and that understanding of what the essence of yoga really is about, and a moving meditation. And this is what he's all about. Is he now works for a healthcare organization, and he helps with like a mindful movement class, and he's helping people with anxiety and depression to heal and to get better from meditation, and now he wants to teach them yoga. And so we're sitting there on the mat, and he just shares with me how all this time in his life, he's done all these things and chased this carrot, you know, is what I call it. But he's chased the carrot to achieve something, to get to this destination, to where then he'd be worthy enough, he'd be good enough. And he realized, like, after all these years, he's like in his 50s now, that it was all complete bullshit. And that it was exhausting. And by the end of it, you know, where he's at in his life now, he said he reached a point where he just felt exhausted. He felt frustration, anxiety, depression, all this stuff hit him. But what's beautiful is his mother had passed away. And when his mother passed away, it kind of cracked him open, which is sometimes the beauty of when we not, I don't even really want to say lose another, because it's not really loss. But when a soul leaves their body and we go through this experience as a human, as connected to loss, it can really cause us to seek deeper truth and to reach ourselves out more, to connect with source, to open from the heart and really surrender to truth instead of just chasing and being totally distracted in our life situation. And so he was sharing with me how he'd gone through all this stuff and it was just complete BS. And now, you know, he's living a simpler life. He's helping empower people. He feels like he really genuinely cares about people, and he just feels so much happier. And when we were sitting there, I would just share with him my observation and how the angels would express things through me. And there'd be times where he'd be listening to me and be like, okay, like that sounds really good. And he's like, but you're in a place I'm not at yet, Tanya. And he's like, but I trust you, and it feels good. It feels truthful, but I'm not quite understanding that level yet. Like he's still processing that. But he said that just the sense of presence he felt and the sense of connection, that is where he knew there was some authenticity here and there was some deep truth here. And a lot of what he's been chasing was not authentic at all. It was, you know, I kind of look at some corporations where they'll hire, and I've worked in jobs where all they care about is what's on the paper. On that resume, what's on that paper, that is what matters. They could meet you, connect with you. You're so qualified. You're so connected. And